tell him no.
You like
This is his
Chang
opinion.
because I think he's trolling you. I think he's messing with us because
he's awesome.
You think Chang you like Chang more than Khan? Hey everybody, welcome to No Comic Required. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I've been.
Oh man, it's been a minute since we've done this show again, but I'm happy to say we did, but we're still doing it, which I think is a real good sign.
We're not just gonna stop.
No.
And well, you just continued.
That's right.
Yeah, Sal, we missed a couple weeks. No more momentum. I'm done.
That's how every podcast dies. The It's Always
just
Sunny in
peter
Philadelphia show died because of that. It was just hard to get those three actors into one room at the same time, and they were like, let's just stop doing it forever.
You know what? Could we not? Could we just?
That's also because they have other projects going on, and we're lame, and this is all we have in our lives.
We don't.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this. What am I doing?
We are as busy as Conan O'Brien, because Conan also has a podcast and hasn't missed a day in a long time. So it's nice for us. Yes,
I'm just saying ouch for Conan.
I'm going to say ouch for Conan. I also want to mention that if you have a question that you want to ask of us, you can always do so by joining the Patreon at patreon.com/comicpop. I did poll the group and asked them for some suggestions, some questions, and I got a lot of great replies. I do feel bad because I always just jump the audience when I do this show. I'm like, hey, we're doing the show in an hour. You got any questions? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, good. Yeah. And what I also do is I'll go back to the previous week's request. And I'll see, because I don't
the
ask
crappier ones.
Oh, no, you got to throw those away. They have to submit again.
Yeah. No, please don't. If I didn't do it, it means your question was horrible. It's not true. I cherry picked them. I don't want to do like 10 questions in a show. That's not what the show is. The show is just
all it would be if that was the case.
Yeah. That's very true. It's like when we used to do those live milestone streams where the show just became 9 hours of answering questions, which is fun. And I do appreciate it. But
and that was even just super chats, trying to get through the super chats.
Yeah, which was almost impossible, which is hard to believe.
That's also rare because we did that like once a year. We're trying to do this like once or twice a month.
There's a really fun throwaway one from Tea Time 480. Who is your favorite live action Spider-Man? That's such an easy, just throw, like, who cares? We don't have to dedicate 10 minutes talking about it.
Tom Holland.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Ben?
I guess I can't say myself.
Yeah. You can't say yourself.
That is correct.
Yes, that is correct.
Has
that is
been
the correct
on
answer.
film.
Yeah. Live, yes. Ben has been a live action Spider-Man, fully licensed and sanctioned by Marvel, but not in film.
Yeah.
Unless you count like iPhone footage, but outside of that, no.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, me too. It's Andrew Garfield. I love Andrew Garfield's performance. I don't love his movies, but I love him in them, and I was sad to see him go. There was a rumor that Sony wanted to reboot the Spider-Man franchise and just kind of hand off the Amazing Spider-Man franchise to Marvel. They were like, that can be your Spider-Man. And no one was more excited probably than Andrew Garfield, but right behind him was me. I was like, yes, I want to see him interact with Cap. And then they were like, nah, we're just going to get this 11-year-old boy. And I was like, oh, all right.
I did like Andrew Garfield.
For a long time, it was Tom Holland until I kept watching Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man 3.
Yes. No Way Home. Andrew Garfield is like, ooh, redemption. And he's just crushing it.
He is great at that.
And I was just like, man, he is really charismatic.
Yeah, he is.
He's a very good actor. He is a great actor.
Yes.
Yeah. So like,
my product's the cleaners. Yes, he's so good. I do love Tom Holland. I think he's a great Spider-Man. I think he's doing a fine job. He's a really nice balance between Pete and Spidey. And I also liked Toby. Like, I remember seeing that movie in the theaters for the first time. Toby was mesmerizing. I was not a Pleasantville fan, but I did really appreciate Toby's performance. And, we were not eating well back then. And so we took whatever we got. And when there were the very occasional quips from him, I was like, nailed it. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want.
Yeah, I think my impression of him suffers from really the third movie. I cannot stop picturing him in that movie. And it's not all his fault. It's not mostly his fault. It's barely his fault. But to me, he doesn't do anything to help it.
No.
And it's like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
His supporting cast also didn't really do him any favors.
No.
I mean, what's funny is they dust off that entire supporting cast and put them in Spider-Man 3, and they're all great. No Way Home, that is.
Willem Dafoe, great.
Alfred Molina,
Doc Ock.
Yeah. He's great.
Alfred Molina. Doc Ock was from Spider-Man 2, though. We're talking about Spider-Man 3 and the failures.
No one was good in Spider-Man 3. I mean, even I loved Rosemary Harris as Aunt May, but even that one is weird. Like that whole movie has like a weird veneer to it. Like
everybody's off their game.
Everyone is off. Yeah, it's like
they know. They're like, oh well, this is trash.
It's almost like the weird vibe from Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze, where that movie came out 1 calendar year after the release of Ninja Turtles 1.
And somehow all the magic's gone. It's all gone.
Right, but like
everyone's wrong.
There's no time.
You just did this.
There's no time. Well, half of them aren't even the same turtles. Like they were just like, oh yeah, whatever. But like, it's not like, oh, we shot Spider-Man 2 and everyone get back. We're going to shoot Spider-Man 3 right now. Like there's no like weird, you had plenty of time to build to it. And they were like, what do you got? We're like,
they weren't run down. There was time to build the script and figure out where you wanted to go in the universe.
Yeah.
And they went a weird place.
They even had Bryce Dallas Howard in that movie.
And how could you not succeed with Bryce Dallas Howard?
I mean, I like Bryce Dallas Howard.
She's fine.
I think she's fine. She's a better director, I think, than actor, but I think she's still fantastic.
Makes sense, yeah.
And a little bit of a follow-up, which we've never done. We did an episode not too long ago where I was like, I'm a little concerned about the Thunderbolts. You know, that movie that came out not too long ago and was apparently also a secret New Avengers movie. Secret to no one. And I wanted to address it because it was great and I enjoyed it. I think we all really enjoyed it. And it was not successful.
It probably didn't make money.
So when you say not successful, what are the numbers on that? Because I don't look these things up.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. The numbers on this movie are the movie itself cost about $180 million. Conventional wisdom suggests that you have to double the budget to incorporate the marketing budget. So, you know, you double $180 million, and then you look at the worldwide gross of Thunderbolts being $371 million, and you go, oh, yeah, that didn't work out. And
wait, it does work out. If they're 180 and they made 371 million, they only had to make 360.
They did technically double. They technically doubled it, but the multiplier is usually considered between 2 and 2.5. So if it's 2, it varies movie to movie because it depends on what percentage of the budget went toward marketing and the international gross. Like the bigger the percentage comes from international, the worse it is.
Yeah,
because there's less margins on that.
Also, I don't want to spend $360 million to make 10.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah. Like if they made 10 million, let's say they did.
Like we made $10 million in cold hard profit, and all it cost us was nearly $400 million to make it. Like, no.
Is it a good return? No, but it's still a return.
It is. You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Yeah, but usually you're not going to make a sequel to that unless you have some good reason to think you're going to do better instead of worse.
I don't think
but with Marvel, it's like there's not really sequels anyway, right? It's all part of a big thing. So.
Exactly, but it is also.
This was just a different arm of that universe,
and it's a bad sign for your big budget universe if folk aren't coming.
Yeah, that said, what made anyone think it would make any money? Because who are the characters in it? I mean, you do have Winter Soldier. He's probably the biggest draw.
I don't know. I think Florence Pugh is a huge draw now because
Florence Pugh as an actress
star power.
Kind of is, but Scarlett Johansson couldn't drive people to the Black Widow movie.
Well, no one went to that movie. Remember, that was a COVID movie.
Well, that's true, yes. But also nobody cares about that movie.
So I guess the problem really lies is that this is almost a sequel to the Black Widow movie, which people weren't excited about anyway.
That's very true. It is a kind of a technical Black
that
Widow
character that Florence Pugh was playing is not one that a whole lot of people know about. It's not like Thor even, and nobody's even that interested in going to see another Thor movie.
That's right.
And she's like a less prominent character than that. So I think it had its work cut out for it. I don't really care if it made money, you know?
I do, only because it sends a bad message to this company that says nobody wants movies like this. And I'm like, oh, that's a shame. Because if that's not true, how would they know they didn't like it? Because no one went to go see it.
Yeah.
But
I think most people were probably waiting for this movie to come out on streaming.
That's
So they're probably not going to like rush to the theaters. And even then, it still doubled the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Disney Plus being like, oh, we're just going to put everything out there, and people willing to wait for it and not go to the theater, it still made it back. I think that at least speaks to the volume that Marvel has a hand in the pie for their cinematic universe, and that even if it's not a massive success like the other movies were, it still did well enough to keep the franchise going.
Yeah. Though I think Fortune had an article the other day, if not today, at the timing of this episode report, where Disney was essentially saying that streaming is considered dead to them. Not that they're not going to invest money in it, but who would have thought? It turns out spending $600 million on an Andor sequel is not going to make them, $1 billion of streaming subscribers. And that's really the problem is like, yes, okay, let's say that Thunderbolts kills it in streaming. That doesn't help them. Because the money's already spent. Those people already signed up. They're spending $7 to $12 a month on a streaming service. Great.
Yeah, the problem is though, if you want that streaming service to work at all, and maybe they don't care anymore, but if you want to keep people paying for it, you do have to keep putting something out.
I agree.
Not put out movies, because then it will just fall off a cliff, right?
Yes,
the revenue from Disney Plus.
Well, that was the whole point of buying Fox in the first place, was having content to put out on their streaming service.
Yeah.
And
but I do get the point that, like, look, we can't expect that a movie can be a failure in the box office and it's okay because, like, we'll make it back in streaming. Like, a very small percentage of the streaming revenue that we make the month that movie gets put on streaming can be attributed to that movie.
Yeah.
Right. So
that makes sense.
You can't afford to spend too much on that.
The sad part is the old days had an equivalent that was more successful, which was it made its money back on DVD. Switching gears, I wanted to ask you guys a question because I was recently attending a con I like to go to because it used to be local, but then they moved further away. And I still make the trek, and every time I do, it's been 2 times now, I regret doing it. But there's a convention in the area. It's called ToyCon. And this convention is really not a convention. It is a yard sale. It's a swap meet.
Sale. Yep.
It's just vendors who bring their toys and then have them sold. And the toys range from old collectibles to brand new toys that they scalped from like a local Target and then are selling at a jacked up rate. Like that's. But I remember discovering the ToyCon many years ago, and it was right around the corner. It was like a 6-minute drive for me. I was like, oh my God, you mean to tell me there's like a mecca for old school toys? Not 10 minutes from me via car. I'm going there. I'm in. And I had a great time, but I had a similar experience to when I went to a collectible shop at a dead mall a few years ago, where there was just so much stuff. I like had sensory overload and I had to leave the room. ToyCon is more like they give you too much in terms of choices and options. That other place, maybe one day we'll talk about, but that collectible store, there's all these fluorescent lights and there's like row after row after row of stuff. I remember
I do love that place.
Most of them are glass cases.
But I'm like, I can't even get my bear. I don't even know what I want to look at first.
It's
so rare I've ever been in a situation where I'm looking at things. So many things in front of me are things I want to see and I can't decide where to look first. That's kind of a mind-bending experience. So if you have that experience, folks, definitely go there. But we'll talk about that later. For now.
Oh, that reminds me. We got to go to Chinese buffet.
Yes, there's just so many choices. Oh my God. We do this.
I don't know which one to put in my mouth first.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to taste
first.
Do I get dessert now? Do I get these dumplings? I'm not sure. But
maybe
anyway,
let's have a whole plate of Jello. Like, I can do that if I want.
Yeah, and then you do that, and you're like, "Why did I do that?" It's because I don't know what else to do.
I can have Jello anytime. What am I doing?
Yeah. Oh my God. And now I'm full. So I went to ToyCon, and I realized after many years of going to the same show, like I have bought less and less stuff until for the last 2 years or so, I've never bought anything but the price of admission. Like I've literally never bought a thing. And I think it's because, well, it's for a variety.
When was the last time you bought something there?
I mean, honestly, I did actually buy a couple things there, but they were for other people. They were not
Yeah.
for me. There was nothing there for me, except there was one table, and I will share this experience because of how weird it was. There was a table, and it had a bevy of action figures from all walks of life that started in like 1991 and end as recently as a few years ago. And it was just a crazy assortment of action figures from Spawn to, Sailor Moon. And I'm looking through these toys, and I found a Fairchild figure from Gen 13, and I was like, "Wow, I've never seen one of these in the wild." And it was a pretty reasonable price. And while I'm considering buying it, I noticed that all the action figures, there is no exception, are women.
Ooh,
This old man
that's odd.
had 2 tables full of action figures that span at least 3 decades, and none of them are men.
That's super weird because of what small percentage of total action figures are women.
I know. I was like, this is... And at first, it kind of washed over me because I'm like, oh, there's Lady Death. The only male figure you're going to get from that is Evil Ernie. And so it's like, yeah, he's actually the exception. But then I started to notice that, like, I have Sue Storm of the Fantastic Four, and that's it. Like, I have Fairchild from Gen 13, and that's all. Like, I was like, oh, no.
So when you say action figure, were they like the small action figures?
They
were they
range
like
across the
statues?
gamut, my man. He did have statues. Again, only women.
Right. Okay.
The statues is creepier.
Well, the statues, they're collectible statues. They weren't statues of a woman. They were a statue of, purgatory.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
yeah, but they're more like detailed and stuff, so.
Yeah, that's true. But I think the action figures are creepier because they're women encased in plastic. They're hidden.
Oh, they're still in the box? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, they were, a lot of them were mint on card. I was like, wow, and then I'm like, wait. And then I still tried to buy him and her, I should say. And he was like, oh, I only take cash. I cannot take anything. Venmo, card, nothing.
Why?
And, right. And
he has to stay off the grid. Otherwise, the cops are going to find him.
Like, oh, Brian,
no
here you go again. Nice try. That said, that location, the new location they have, no ATM on site.
Oh, my God. Not even one of those like portable ones that you wheel in for events like that.
Yeah, no.
You pay like a $5 fee to use it.
You could probably make like $10,000 just by providing an ATM at that location.
I think the reason that we like that type of show is because it's similar to the nostalgia of going over to a friend's house when you're young and being able to play with all of their toys. The toys that you didn't have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
the grass is always greener, man.
It's true.
It's just amazing, like, to see the things that you have versus what your friends have. You always get to, like, play with each other's stuff. That's a fun thing. But after you've gone to the con for 2 or 3 times and gotten what you already liked, they're not buying more stuff. Like you said, they're just selling to each other. So at one point, you're just like, I've already played with your stuff. I don't need to be here anymore.
The same stuff every year. You go 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You're like, I kind of haven't really seen anything different.
No.
Or like maybe 5% of the merchandise is new compared to last year.
That's very true. It went from overwhelmingly amazing to seeing all these amazing things to a lot of that stuff was sold years ago. And now we have the rest, or the new stock that has replaced what would have been exciting because it was old. So my question to you guys is, if you were to go to a ToyCon and you were given like $50, is there anything that you would want to find that you'd be like, I kind of hope they have this? Because sometimes I walk around and I would like to see, for example, I would love to see some Secret Wars toys from '84. I would love to see a couple of those figures on display and available for purchase at a reasonable price. It's so rare to find them, and I would love to pick up something like that. Also, if somebody had like a cardboard box filled with Ghostbusters figures, I'd love to be able to go, give me the box. You know, I've never seen that.
Well,
And I
like,
never-
cool, $300.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous. Well, sometimes it is, and sometimes these folks are just like, I have a lot, I want to get rid of it. I'm done doing this. You know, my knees are tired. I hate going to the awful used store. I'm just
Yeah,
done.
50 is better than nothing.
Like there is a moment for me where I was looking at the stock available, and I was like, I should get a table, sell all, like not all my stuff, but like I have a lot of stuff where I'm like, this could go. Like I don't need to look at this ever again, and just make $500 and go home that day. Just be like, and when I run out, it's over. Everything's ridiculously priced, and then just basically just disperse it into the con. Just see all those toys at other people's tables.
The problem is that if you have anything that anyone else has, you have to price it competitively.
Fine by me. I want it out.
I'm like actively removing those things
Yeah.
from my life. So like certainly not like action figures. Like I'm not, because if I can't put it somewhere
Yeah.
and like have it on display, I don't want it. So
Right.
like like a statue maybe.
Right.
But
Well,
that's
it
not
doesn't
really
have
a
to be
toy,
an action
you know.
figure. We're talking ToyCon sells dolls,
Yeah.
statues, Legos.
But most like toys, like if I think of like, oh, what's like a toy that like I always wanted, I never
Yes.
have, like, but what, I'm not gonna do anything with it now.
yeah, but
you know, like-
you say that now, but when you see it, and it like turns something on in your head.
I don't know. I've seen that. This has happened to me before in recent years
Yeah.
at New York Comic Con, where I'm like, oh, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so much money. Oh wait, I like have so much money. Like I could buy it.
Yeah.
Like like I have money to spend on stuff, but I still don't.
yeah.
Right? Because it's
yeah.
like, but what am I gonna do with it? What am I gonna do with a like Millennium Falcon from 1978 or whenever
Yeah.
the first like toy was made?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I could hang it from my ceiling somewhere, but like it's not gonna look like, I don't have a collection to put it with, right? So like anywhere it goes, it's gonna stand out.
yes.
That's kind of my problem. Like if it doesn't go, like I'm in this stage of my life where I'm like, if it doesn't go with any of my stuff, I have no need for it. I don't
Mhm.
want it. It's just taking up space.
That's
I'm
fair.
downside.
Like, you
Getting
want things
rid
to
of
be
all that shit.
curated
Yeah.
and like they want to work together.
yeah. You need
Yeah.
you have a feng shui going on. I know.
We can see
Yeah,
that.
so like probably Legos. That's like the only thing. Like a really cool old Lego set.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If I could find probably like up, and this doesn't make sense because then I really get it for this price.
Yeah.
The replica of Marty's hoverboard from Back to the Future 2
Mm-hmm.
for $50. I'd buy
Right.
that.
That's fair.
Did they
Yeah.
make that? Was that a thing?
Yeah, you
or
get
you
that.
mean like just like a prop? Like
They make that
replica?
now.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you can get
You
it.
get that on Amazon.
Expensive.
Yeah. Would you see that at ToyCon? I guess we might.
Yeah, you'd see that. Oh yeah.
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 And so Sal's talking about like it's not just toys, it's collectibles, it's
Yeah.
posters, it's
Something from Toy, but something
stuffed
you would
animals.
see on the shelf. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Like
Like, you can find
there's like
pop art
statues
then.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. No,
Popples are cool.
if you gave me $500, right? You said $50. There's
$50,
nothing I want
yeah.
for $50 at ToyCon or Comic Con or anything like that. If
Yeah.
you gave me $500, there's probably some cool statues I get.
Okay,
Something
Give me
Lord of the Rings,
$500.
maybe.
I would
Maybe like
not go to ToyCon. I would just
right.
Okay.
Yeah, like maybe like a Balrog statue or
yeah.
something like detailed and cool.
What if you could find that for $50 though? Imagine that like maybe it's not in the best condition or it's not as big or as detailed as you like, but is there anything that you would buy at a place like that? So Lord of the Rings stuff.
I mean, no, not really. Not that I can think of.
Yeah. There was a run, I don't remember when, probably like the mid 2000s, from Gentle Giant that did these Star Wars statues that was like in a style reminiscent of the animation from the Star Wars Holiday Special. Like it's a blend of the Tartakovsky style from Clone Wars and that.
Oh,
And they're really cool. And
That's interesting.
and like one of the first times I ever saw them was at ToyCon, and I was like, I need all of them because they made like a really great like kind of pin-up version of Leia with R2D2. They made a slave bikini Leia. There's one of 3PO with a missing arm and a Jawa like holding it for him. Like there's a lot of, and I was like, that'd be such a cool thing. I've never seen a single one at that show ever again. And looking them up,
You
they're
know
like,
it exists.
I do know they exist. And like one of my first purchases from a convention of any kind was a statue, and I haggled for it. Big Busta asks, what are some weird or spooky events that you've experienced that cannot be explained? I.e., and if I paraphrase, I apologize, Big Busta, but I feel like you're asking, has any of us ever seen a ghost?
Or had a paranormal experience.
Or
Because
seen
you don't
an
have
alien.
to seen a ghost
Right.
to have experienced paranormal activity.
Yes.
Objects
Or anything
moving that you
just
can't
simply
explain.
Can't explain.
Can't explain. Yes.
Yeah.
I experienced this once, and I think I've told you guys this situation before. Like I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I was trying to go to sleep, and it was like 9 at night, and I'm trying to sleep, and I can't, and it's dark outside, and I'm just tossing and turning, and at some point I like look over at the clock, and it's like 11:30, and I feel like I've been trying to sleep for days almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it just won't be morning. And I sat up in my bed and I said, like, I'm going to close my eyes. And when I open my eyes, it's going to be morning. And I closed my eyes and I counted down from 3 and I opened my eyes and the sun was shining and it was like 6:45 in the morning.
Yeah. I remember that story. That was,
Yeah. That is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
And there are ways you could explain it. I could have like self-hypnotized myself. I
Right.
could have misread the clock. I could have not known that it was actually light outside.
There could have been a
Maybe
carbon
you weren't
monoxide
even
leak.
awake. Maybe you were asleep. Maybe that was a dream.
It could
Maybe
have been
lucid dreaming.
a lucid dream that you had. Or you have
How did I
total
wake up
mastery
getting
over
up?
time.
What's that?
Or
How
you're
did
a
I
Time
wake up
Lord.
getting up?
Yeah, that's...
I mean, I've definitely had moments where I was dreaming about being in my bed. And I woke up and I was like, oh, that wasn't really happening. It was just a really realistic dream.
Yeah.
You know, because like the time was different or something was different about the room. But like I was in a situation where I was like sleeping or trying to sleep or something. And then like I wake up and I'm like, oh no, now I'm awake.
I've had situations like that too. I remember one time when I was really young, I woke up because I had a dream that I was in my room and I was able to move stuff with my mind because I was wearing a very specific set of clothes from the previous day.
Yeah.
So I woke up from that dream and I was like, oh, I need to put on those clothes. And I put them on. I tried to move stuff with my mind and it didn't work. And I was like, damn it. But I knew that was a dream.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
This time,
you couldn't. Yeah.
I was convinced that I was awake. And I, to this day, still believe that I closed my eyes 11:30.
Yeah.
And
opened my eyes 3
transported
seconds
through
later,
time.
and it was morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some Donnie Darko shit right there. Like a small
I have
wormhole
one.
appeared. All right, let's hear it.
I was also a child, so take this for what it's worth, but probably 7 or 8, like in Ben's, maybe a little younger. And I was staying with my mom at a friend of hers house in southern Maine. So we were far from home because we lived in northern Maine, and we were on our way somewhere else, and they weren't home, right? They said like, oh, you can crash at our place on your way south to Massachusetts or wherever we're going. So I'm in this strange house, which I think I'd been in maybe once before, but it's like an old house. And I know there are ghost stories about this house, right? So it's already a little bit creepy. And it's kind of like dark, like there were some lights on, but not a whole lot. So it's just an environment I was like not super used to, and it was a little creepy. And I was watching the X-Files, which I'd never watched before. This is the first time I watched the X-Files.
Nice.
That's the other reason I remember this. And it was the episode, it was early one about guy gets struck by lightning. He has like lightning powers or something. I don't remember exactly, but so at a certain point, my mom's like upstairs, right? She's not around. And I am, for whatever reason, just wandering around the house. And I go to the bottom of the stairs and there's a big mirror at the bottom of the stairs. And I recall standing in front of the mirror and looking into the mirror. And I don't recall anything after that until I come to basically on the ground, and the mirror is on top of me. And I'm like in pain, and I start screaming, and my mom comes running down the stairs and sees that this mirror has fallen on top of me, and like takes the mirror off, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I was like a little banged up, a little bruised, but it's fine." But like,
Yeah.
the mirror now, maybe I touched the mirror, I don't know, but like, if not, it just spontaneously fell off the wall as I was like right next to it looking at it,
Yeah.
which I've always thought was like freaky and weird.
Yeah, that is
In
freaky
a house
weird.
that was like supposedly haunted. Like, did the ghost try to kill me?
Right?
You know,
Well, and
That's
if you,
crazy.
I think
probably
if you
not. I
read
probably bumped it
into-
or something.
If you read into like the mystical ideas about that stuff, like mirrors have a lot of energy to them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
ruined a friend of mine's place. He had bought a house for the first time. He was very excited about it. And at the end of his hall was this big, full-length antique mirror. And he was showing off the house, giving me a little tour. And I see the mirror, and he's like, and we got this old antique mirror from an estate sale, and it's huge. And I'm like, have you ever seen any ghosts in it? And he's like, no. And I go, all right. And he's like, why would you say that? And I'm like, well, because it's an old mirror and it came from an old woman's house. I assume maybe like she died and her spirit went into the mirror, and now you're going to see it when you walk past it.
Right.
And he's like,
you do.
and
Was like, well, now I will.
that's what he said. He had to get rid of the mirror.
Yeah,
You
can
ruined
always
that
buy
mirror for
review,
him.
apparently.
I did. I ruined the mirror. Not a personal story about me having experienced a ghost, but we shot this really stupid sequence for an episode of Back Issues where we were using a Ouija board, and I was really beholden to production value. So I went to the Spencer's Gifts at the mall and I bought a Ouija board, and we used it for a total of 10 seconds. And then I put it back in the box and I brought it to the Spencer's the following day to return it because I don't want a Ouija board in my house. And the same person who sold me the Ouija board the day before was checking me out this time, and she said, was there anything wrong with it? And I just said, in the coldest, most deadpan delivery, it worked. And then she just looked at the Ouija board and looked at me, and she like pushed it back to me like, I'm not gonna take this Ouija board. And I go, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. I'm just kidding. I just don't want it. It's not real. And she's like, okay. I don't know what compelled me to do that. Like, what a jerk.
It's funny. It's
It was
really
great.
funny. You
I
didn't
really
think it was
got
gonna
it.
like be
Except for
scared.
her, apparently.
She was like, what? No.
But at the same time, you also didn't want a Ouija board in your house.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, but
Well-
did you not want it because you were scared of it, or just because you had no use for it?
I think it was
You
like
don't want-
$26.
useless shit
I
around your
really didn't
house.
want that Ouija board.
Right.
Yeah, and I've used them before, like maybe once in my life, and I'm like, yeah, someone's moving this thing. It's not me. Like, it's not a ghost. It's just the other person next to me.
Who was it? Who was moving it?
One of the girls I was playing it with, obviously.
Which one owned up to it?
No one did. I just know because
Then how do you know?
Because it's not magic.
I don't know. Sounds like it could be.
Yeah,
You don't know.
I guess you're right. I really don't. Can616 says, who are some of your guys' favorite villains? I don't know why
There's some really good
my
ones out there.
My brain
The
immediately goes to Doctor Doom, and I'm like, he's not my favorite villain at all. I don't know why I always think of that, and I think it's just because he's always at the list. If you picture like a list of villains, on the top of it is just Doom going like, yeah, but like he's not top villain. It's just I always think of him. But
I think one of the reasons that's the case is because Dr. Doom always
His name is
believes
Dr.
in
Doom.
himself and believes that he's right.
yeah. That's one of my favorite things about villains is like, or the best kind of villains are the ones who are like, no, I've got this. Like, I know I'm right. My worldview is correct. Trust me.
And not only that,
I'm,
but like,
I'm not a bastard.
I'm doing this for my country, for Latveria.
I don't think he's ever.
Doom
It's like
claims
that.
to love Latveria. There's no way he gives a crap. He's Doom centric. Doesn't have to be comic books, by the way. I'm just talking.
I was going to say Tulsa
Yeah.
Doom, actually.
Hey, he's a great villain. What a jackass.
And like
Putting it mildly.
James Earl Jones does such a good job with him too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like villains that I love to hate, where I'm like, ugh. And then you think about like how manipulated you're being. You know, like here's a villain that I don't regard in any way, but I also love to hate him, and it's because of how emotionally manipulative the movie maker is, and it's Billy Zane in Titanic. Like, he is a cartoon villain.
Yeah.
And it's like he if we cut out the part where he actually has like abuse against Kate Winslet's character, like we gotta make him hit her. It's got to be in there. If it's just
so it's like clear.
Yeah,
No,
right.
he's not okay.
Right, but it's like,
otherwise there'll be people like he was wronged.
I bet there are people like that now.
Yeah, there definitely are.
Yeah,
And they
You're right.
forget about that. That you know what? That's their problem.
or they remember it.
I'm just saying, technically that necklace was his.
Right. And so was she, you know, because she was supposed to marry him.
I'm just saying it was a different time, and in that time he was right.
Yeah. No, we are not saying that.
Hannibal
But it's
Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter's a great
Oh,
villain.
that's a good one.
I would argue he's like a co-lead of that. He's not even a villain. He's just a protagonist. I mean,
So
hilarious.
yes, you got Buffalo Bill, who is the antagonist of that movie.
Yes.
But Buffalo Bill doesn't inspire as much horror in me as Hannibal Lecter does.
That's fair. That's fair. I think I fear Buffalo Bill more, and it's because I think I can justify Hannibal Lecter not respecting me, but thinking that eating me is beneath him. Like I would escape death from Hannibal Lecter, but not necessarily from Buffalo Bill had a very specific type, and I do not fit that bill. But
That Buffalo Bill.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, but it's true. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, you'd be safe from that. But at the same time, like, that's just it. The things that Buffalo Bill did were terrible. The things Hannibal Lecter did were worse.
Mm. So it's hard to gauge.
Pretty horrific.
Yeah, it's all pretty horrific.
I always like the Sea Witch.
Ursula?
Yeah, Ursula. It's pretty good. Pretty good
She's
villain.
a great villain.
Yeah.
I think I know who my favorite villain I love to watch is, but a villain that made me like freak out because of how evil they were is Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh.
Like that was one of the first times in film where I saw someone who was just a monster because they could be. Like someone who's like, I don't listen to reason or rationality. Like I run this place. People that you run into in real life. Like Nurse Ratched is a real person.
It's just real. Yeah.
Yeah. Current Nurse Ratched, she runs a library or she like works in the medical field. Like she's a real person somewhere.
Yeah, someone who like you give like a little power to,
and they just lose it. Like they're just they turn into their truest self.
Yeah.
But my favorite villain to watch is Hans Landa from friggin' Inglourious Bastards. You can't not watch him.
Yes.
He is really good.
He is. That is an excellent like modern villain.
Modern villain? Yeah. So great. Christoph Waltz. It's just delightful. You know, second runner-up obviously is Bludnovsky from Green Hornet.
Yeah. I mean, he's great. I love him.
Ursula.
I think, yes, once entertaining wise, you know.
Oh, well, she is the best song in the movie.
Yeah, she got the showstopper.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. She's amazing. And she loves what she does. She and Palpatine would have gotten along really well. Just these two big jerks who were just like, I love being evil.
Yep. In the same vein, Scar. I think Scar's a terrific villain.
Disney knows how to sell a villain. They're like, we got it. We got this covered. You know?
Yeah, the priest from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Tony Todd's character.
That guy.
Yes. He's great.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, that's one of the Disney movies I've never seen. I've seen clips of it, but I've never watched the whole movie, and I apparently really need to.
Yeah,
you
love
should
it.
Just because of how much he sucks.
He sucks hard, man. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, fuck this guy. Fuck. Like, ugh. I think the Terminator was an excellent villain.
So great. All of them. T-1000.
Yeah, the T-1000 was also great.
Yep. Yep.
But just doing what had like the Terminator was groundbreaking.
Yes, the
that was
Terminator
like,
concept.
oh my God, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Bruce the Shark in Jaws.
Yeah, the shark.
The
Shark's
shark.
an amazing villain.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. So those are doing wild animals.
Well, the Terminator is basically the shark from Jaws, but just with a personality.
He's a robot. He's a robot person. That shark is a wild beast. There are sharks.
Yeah.
And they will eat you.
And that
And they
movie did
do eat
irreparable
people.
harm to the shark community.
Yeah, that shark is, a gross misrepresentation of the actual aggressiveness of a great white shark.
Well, he's true. That was a
It's very
rogue.
rare.
They even said it in the movie. They say he's a rogue. He's not a normal representative of his people.
Right.
Yeah, but they didn't say he's a rogue shark like these are erratic behaviors, even though they were. They're talking about a rogue shark because he's a loner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
it's true. Yeah, he's literally a rogue. General Chang, Star Trek 6.
No. You don't.
You don't like General Chang? You can't tell him no.
You like
This is his
Chang
opinion.
because I think he's trolling you. I think he's messing with us because
No,
you
he's awesome.
You think Chang you like Chang more than Khan? You came up with Chang before Khan?
Yes, I do like Chang. He's
Really?
more fun.
Yeah, all right. Chang is more fun than Khan.
The quoting
Khan-
Shakespeare shit puts it over the top. It's so campy. It's
Yeah.
so Khan is a more intimidating villain.
Khan's a real
Absolutely.
villain. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Khan's a real
scary.
bastard, and
Yeah.
he's scary. General Chang is not scary.
No.
But he has a lot of fun to watch.
From his big tooth cane to his spinning in a chair while quoting Shakespeare.
With the
Cry havoc.
white eye patch that's bolted into his face with these big ass bolts.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right. I'll give you that. So I'm sensing a pattern here. You really like villains that own it.
Yeah. Let's steal the show.
That steal the show,
Yes.
show-stopping villains who also don't mince word. Like they are unmistakably a villain,
Yeah.
Hans in
Yes.
Die Hard.
Yeah, Hans Gruber's amazing.
Yes. Yep.
Are there any okay, I'm gonna throw a twist on this. Are there any movie villains that you love where the movie itself is not great, but the villain is great?
Well, I mean, Star Wars, the prequels.
Oh.
Palpatine is hilarious.
Hilarious or good?
No, yeah, hilarious. He's not good.
Exactly.
That's upsetting people, but
He does go for it.
Yes.
He absolutely goes for it. And I do kind of like him in really episode 1.
Oh yeah.
He's such a bastard.
Yep.
But he plays it so well.
Yep.
Where you're like, oh, this guy, I could see how he takes over the galaxy. He's smooth.
Yes. What he does
and
is he
personable.
roars like a wild animal and does a triple axle spin with his lightsaber at 3 Jedi at the same time. And then throws the Senate at Yoda.
Everything before that is great.
So subtle. It's so funny. Yes, if the first one, yeah, it was well, they said it was boring, so how about this? So a movie
Damn
that I don't like, but the villain is good in it. Is that what you're postulating?
Yeah, because a lot of us are talking about great movies, and part of the greatness is the fact that the villain does a great job making the protagonists propel the story.
Such a good point. Such a great point. That's very interesting.
And I'm wondering if you can think of a movie where you're just this movie is not good and I don't
Yes.
really like it, but this person, okay?
I got it. Ben Affleck's Daredevil. That movie is not very good. But Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin is great. He's not Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin.
Bullseye.
No, Bullseye is a joke. Yeah. What are you doing? That's so awful. So awful.
Yeah.
No,
But Michael
Kingpin.
Clark Duncan is good in that movie.
Yeah, he's great. He's like, I'm doing it. I saw Spider-Man. I'm gonna Willem Dafoe. No, I'm not. Okay. Well, you win some, you lose some. Hey, Agent Smith in the Matrix sequels. That dude
Yes.
loves being a villain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But I do not like those movies.
He just chews scenery and
he has to
those
say all this
sequels.
awkward crap about purpose. And you know what scene actually came up recently that I saw? It's him when he's standing over Neo during the final fight in the rain, where he's like, "What's the reason? Do you know what it? Do you know what it is? Do you even know?" It's like
It's so demeaning.
He's like, "How did you even know what you're doing? Why get up? Why do that? I mean, come on, man, just let it go." But he can't
We can't understand because he's a program. He's like, there has to be a reason though.
Yeah.
It can't just be just because. Like, why specifically?
Right.
Yeah, I don't get it because it can't just be human will.
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean? Will.
Right. That's that movie. Those movies are awful, but he's just so fun.
Yeah.
This is my world. You suck.
There are ideas in those sequels that are good.
Yes.
They're sprinkled through.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah. No,
there's just so much
I would
trash.
argue it's like the movies are good. Like the boat is well built, right? But the Wachowskis keep steering it in the wrong direction. They're just like, no, I know where you want to go, boat, but we're gonna go this way. And it's like, okay, well, don't be surprised if you capsize. Stop steering against the tide, man.
I gotta
everyone
rewatch the
goes that
Animatrix
way.
because I kind of feel like the Animatrix at this point is still better than the Matrix.
100%. You saw that before,
So they're more creative.
Sure, yeah. That was made by 3 different people and all these different vignettes. Yeah. Oof.
You know who I always liked? He's just like all my other answers. Dustin Hoffman, Hook.
Yes. Hook is so
he
great.
really the villain though?
Yeah, at some point, I remember as a kid watching that movie and being like, I gotta say, I don't really feel very threatened.
He's not terribly villainous. Other than that, he steals children.
He kidnaps children.
But then he's nice to them.
He murders people with scorpions.
Yeah, he murders people. You don't really see them die. It's just implied that they do.
We never see Glenn Close
he does
again.
kill his own crew
He
when he
doesn't
shoots
come
him
out
in
of
the
the-
checkbook.
He
That's
shot
true,
that
he
guy.
does.
That's right. That poor guy.
Played for laughs.
Yeah.
Because that old movie's played for laughs.
He's like a poor comedian.
Yeah, but he's
The
also
worst-
being a better father to Jack than Peter everywhere.
No, he's not. Because he's doing it out of spite. He doesn't really care about Jack. Although there is no moment like in Titanic where he hits Jack or shows he doesn't really care about Jack. You get the feeling I wonder if maybe being a father would have changed Hook, which maybe actually is what this movie's kind of about, which is why the movie's actually really good. I don't know.
I don't think that's.
No, I think
No.
it's
I think he would have raised Jack as his own,
yes,
but he would have raised him as a pirate.
yes, but
Which
he
is
would have.
horrible. It'd be
but-
like a bank robber with a heart of gold.
But Hook doesn't-
raising their children to be bank robbers.
Well,
That's
you mean
terrible.
men?
Oh yeah,
Because you're
Matt
not giving them a choice, right?
Yeah.
They're too young to choose a life of piratry.
Yeah, no, but yes, but Hook doesn't love anything. If Hook learned to love, he would have grown as a person. The whole movie's about appreciating the fact that children
Children are
awaken something
precious or
true
whatever.
inside of
Yeah.
you, and that there's no greater responsibility or adventure than being a father. And it's I think that Hook wouldn't have become it's not like Captain Hook would have stopped being Captain Hook, but he would have
No.
understood a little bit about where Peter was coming from. He's confused when Peter does stuff. It's what are you doing? When he leaves, he's like, all right, let's get out of here. He takes his children's hands and he's like, Peter, where are you going? Brilliant delivery of that line. That's doesn't often owning it, but that's that him saying where you're going. He's like, but all we have is our endless fight and my revenge. I couldn't fathom why one would want to abandon a sword fight with me to be a lawyer.
Isn't this fun?
Right. And I don't know if he's not even having fun anymore because he's a person trapped in a child storybook, but he's revenge is all I have. This is all that there is.
Well, he's getting on in life.
I'm a
He's
one-note
I'm
character.
too old for anything else.
Yeah. Well, he's I was
can't
written. Yeah. Yeah. He's,
Yeah.
Yeah. I there's a lot in there. I think it's not even that it's even part of the story Bible, because I don't think there was one, but also it's just when you have a good movie like that, you can add to it because of the subtlety of performance and the fact that the movie actually is handled well. Like, because the movie's about fathership, you can imply that it applies to everybody and has nothing to do with being a
represents, he represents a type of father, right? Like, to me, he represents a bad father, but the kind who doesn't know that they're a bad father, right? Because they're just doing what comes naturally to them, right? But it's like, but you're leading this child down the horrible path, and you're doing it for like selfish reasons. He's trying to screw over Peter, right? And you can imagine a future where maybe he does develop affection for Jack and like has like a father-son relationship with him, but it would be like a cracked mirror, like horrible mutated version.
That's true.
Of the father-son relationship.
Yeah.
So do you think in a way it's sort of a grandfather getting revenge on their son because they didn't turn out like them by getting grandson to be more like him?
Maybe.
Could be. Like, yeah. Okay. So to the degree that Hook represents Peter's father to some degree, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see Hook as kind of, you know what I see Hook as is one of the parents who made it to the baseball game, but they're one of those overactive parents who's just living vicariously through their kid. And he's just like, yeah, no, he's at the game because you get up at 5 o'clock and you train and then you go there and you better hit a home run for your dad. You don't want to make me look like an idiot out there. And it's like, make you look like an idiot. What are you talking about? Like that. I mean, it's like, it's very nice. You made the Pirates learn baseball kind of, but like, it's all very performative at the end of the day.
It is very performative.
They had to build a
doesn't
team
get it
for that.
And what's best, it's a performance, and it's not for him. Right. It's not for the boy. It's for Peter. Right. Oh my God. Movie
thematically, it's for Peter.
Yeah. Hook is the gift that keeps on giving, folks. If you haven't already picked up the 4K restoration of Hook, you should. I haven't.
Do yourself a favor.
Do yourself a favor and watch Hook on 4K because they filmed that thing on film. So obviously every subsequent like restoration project will look as good or if not better. Hook looks amazing in 4K. And also it's just a great movie that no one liked when it came out. And when I say no one, I mean no one over the age of 11.
Yeah. Yeah. Critics
panned it big time. Toys weren't very good. They did make a lot of them. There's a mid to high level SNES game for Hook, which I played.
Pirate toys are hard in the 90s. Pirates were not a thing. So
no, not when you had like
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, you can't put a Hook toy next to a Ninja Turtle and an X-Force figure and expect me to make that kind of choice. It ain't no choice at all. It's a two-person race. It's Turtles or X-Men. It ain't Hook or Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I saw you trying that too, and no, that's not going to work out for me. I'm not getting a Little John.
Speaking of excellent villains,
yes. Oh my God, Alan Rickman.
I mean, God, he's so great.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is a fun movie for the aesthetic that it has. But it's not good.
It's not a good movie, no.
It's not great.
I mean, it's effective.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call it art.
No.
But it is solidly entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, but he steals the show.
Oh, yeah. Every scene he's in. And it did make Robin Hood Men in Tights possible.
Right. It has a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus we got another Killer Bryan Adams song. Isn't the Predator show coming out?
Yes, the Predator Killer of Killers anthology film. I thought it was a show. Apparently it's just one movie split up with 3 different stories. Drops today as of the taping of this episode. It is available on Hulu in America only and on Disney Plus everywhere else on the planet. Because Hulu is irrelevant. And
is it available on Disney Plus in America also?
No.
Or only on Hulu?
Only on Hulu in America and
that sucks.
Everywhere else on Earth because I know. It's like,
but hey, that's okay because if you watch Disney Plus on your computer, you can just set up a VPN.
And that's why this episode is brought to you by NordVPN. If you want to be able to, it's not. I wish I could have made a couple of grand over that.
Then it would be NordVPN if it was brought to you.
Just reach out to them real quick. Otherwise, you're just going to open your mouth and say, Surfshark.
Surfshark. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys use VPNs? If you do, I'll get a sponsorship.
I use NordVPN.
I also use NordVPN.
What
Yeah,
is
depending
happening?
on my NordVPN.
All right. This episode might be sponsored by NordVPN. I'll ask them. There's no way.
Yeah, I learned about NordVPN from Ethan. Then I got my own account like, I don't know, 7-8 years back.
I was using it before everyone was fucking being sponsored by it.
Yeah.
I just Googled it.
I literally only learned about NordVPN from other YouTube channels that were like, this episode's sponsored by NordVPN.
The last Dorkly episode is sponsored by NordVPN.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I'm on that show. Really?
Yeah. I had more villains.
Oh, yeah? What'd you
I
got?
got more for you. I got the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park.
They are really the villains of that movie, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. They're certainly the most scary.
They're intelligent enough to be qualified as villains and not just wild
Yes.
animals.
Correct. Yeah. And Heisenberg.
Oh,
from
sure.
Breaking Bad.
Isn't he basically just a protagonist of the show? Like, he is the star of
Yeah,
Breaking
but he
Bad.
becomes the villain. And then the villain becomes something else. But like
Oh, yeah.
for the back half of the show develops into, a truly menacing character, a tragic figure.
Sure.
In some ways sympathetic, but becoming less so as he goes. I mean,
Yes.
the premise of the show was I want to make a character where the show is about them becoming the villain.
Yeah. Yeah. Vince Gilligan's a smart guy. He makes good stuff.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. It's interesting too because like you could see it like from the beginning. Like there's so many moments where like Heisenberg just fucks up, and it's because he's a narcissist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just like, dude, just be happy with what you have. And he's like, no, because no one will talk to me like that. And it's like what, you fucking chemistry teacher?
Yeah, but he has, you find out that he's actually he's really smart. He had this opportunity and he had this thing happen to him in the past with his partner. And so he feels cheated out of the life he should have had. And that drives his, insecurity and his
egomania
complex. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
But he also realizes
great.
I can have more and I don't need to be demeaned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm where all the people who lapped me,
Yeah, I'm making more money than any of them.
Yeah. And yet people still look down on me. Fuck you. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's it. Thanks for doing this, guys.